Flashing numbers.
Totally. All right, let's do it, I think. All right, well, hello everyone that's joined us. Welcome to our webinar on our new feature, Pulsar First, which is introducing first-party data to our platform. My name is Beth and I'm a customer success manager here at Pulsar. So I work with a number of our current clients, training and onboarding. So I'm going to be sort of starting off today and giving you a little bit of an introduction and contextualizing the new feature. And then I'm going to hand over to Jean, who is one of our product managers at Pulsar, and then also Dom, who is our business analyst based out in LA. So it's a little early for him right now. So props to you for joining us. Thank you so much. So what we're going to cover today, as I said, I'm going to start off by just giving you a little bit of an introduction to the functionality. And then Jean and Dom are going to give you a practical kind of walkthrough of how it works, how you use it, and then what we'll do is we'll leave some time towards the end for some Q&A. So if anything kind of pops to the front of your mind during the webinar, please pop it in the Q&A box that's at the bottom of the webinar screen, and we'll get to them towards the end. Now, to begin, there's a sort of a mixture of people on the call, some current clients, some that I think are fairly new to Pulsar. So I'm just going to start by just spending a couple of minutes giving you a quick introduction to Pulsar and our tools, and then we'll get into the first party data stuff. So without further ado, I will just ping on over to this screen here. So Pulsar is an audience intelligence company. We have a range of different tools which allow you to combine conversational, behavioral, and audience-led data across a variety of different data sources. What you can then do is, with your data, using our vertical AI, we help you to find actionable insights in the data to inform your communications, your content strategy, product development, audience targeting. The list is endless. We actually have 4 tools as part of our software offering. And I'll give you a quick rundown of these. So the first you'll see in the top left there is Trends. Trends is a top line trend analysis tool, which allows you to see what's trending in the world right now. So it allows you to keep your finger on the pulse of what's trending, what's hot, what's cooling off. But you can also use Trends to analyze topics and trending conversations historically as well. We then have Track, which is our social listening tool, and this allows you to track multiple different data sources and bring it all into the platform to analyze things like influencers, trends, themes, topics, and use our kind of vertical AI analysis to do things like image analysis, topic analysis, segmentation, and you'll find all of that functionality in Track. We then have our communities integration with audience, and communities allows you to do audience segmentation. So you can take an online audience, and what it will then do is break it down into unique tribes of people so that you can understand specific communities, the affinities that they have, demographics, and use this information to really target and understand the unique tribes of people that you're trying to reach. We then have Pulsar Core, which is our analytics tool, and this allows you to track and monitor your social channels and those of your competitors and benchmark against them. So you can see here how your channels are growing and performing and how specifically your content strategy is playing out. So there are 4 tools. The one that we're going to be focused on today is Track, our social listening tool. This is where the first party data functionality lies. So moving on to the next slide. So introducing first party data, why have we actually brought it into the platform? A number of our clients will use Pulsar to collect and analyze social data and social conversation. And to get that kind of voice of the customer through the social data, and often it provides it at scale by using social data. However, a lot of our clients will also use lots of other things to kind of reach out to their customers, things like surveys, focus groups, website comments, forums. There's lots of different ways in which you can collect that voice of the customer. But what it's really difficult to do is to bring that data into one place. So this is what we're allowing you to do. What you're able to do is upload your first party data into Pulsar alongside our other data sources. So it's essentially just another data source, if you think of it as easy as that. And upload it into Pulsar. And then the beauty of bringing it all together is that you can run the Pulsar analysis over your data and alongside the social data. So what you've got is a consistency in the way in which you're analyzing the data. So you can analyze it with our modules within our kind of text category, so sentiment and emotional analysis, topic analysis, language analysis, but also, you know, many of our other kind of vertical AI offerings. So it's a really great way to bring everything together into one view. And it's really easy to do so. We've got two methods in which you can upload your data. You can either use our API or we've got a CSV uploader, which we think is fairly unique to Pulsar and a really quick and easy way to get your data into the tool. And the guys are going to be showing you how to do that in just a second. So what I thought I would do, the last slide that I've got for you, is just to give you a couple of examples of the type of first party data that you can upload. So here's a couple of examples. So chat transcripts. If you have your kind of brand website, if you're chatting to customers, you can upload those kind of in-app messenger type conversations that you're having, any customer support tickets that you may have, comments left on your website, or if your website hosts a forum. And many of my clients have had very specific forums that they sort of run and manage on their websites. Data from that would be great. Survey responses, and also transcripts, which you might have from podcasts, lectures, focus groups. And really, this is just giving you a quick insight. There are many different things that you can upload. The example that we're going to show you today is survey responses, and Dom's going to run you through that. He ran a survey through Pulsar colleagues, so there's some funny answers in there for you to have a look at. And there's one quick last thing to consider. When you are uploading data into Pulsar, you need to make sure that you read and the data complies with our fair use policy, and I'll leave the guys to cover the details on that. So that was sort of my little intro spiel. We now actually, I'm going to just hand it over to everyone that's joined us. We've got a little poll for you. We've actually got two during the webinar, so watch out for the second. So I am going to launch now a poll for you all to answer. And it's just to give us a bit of an insight into what kind of first party data do you have? So there should be some multiple choice options up for you on the screen, and you can start voting away. You can pick kind of multiple answers if you'd like to. And excellent, they're starting to flow through now. So as you are answering that question, what I'm going to do is hand on over to Jean, our product manager, and she's going to take you through the functionality.
Thanks for getting us started, Beth. As Beth mentioned, I am a product manager here at Pulsar, and I'm going to show you how easy and straightforward it is to upload your content via a CSV file into Pulsar Track. So the great news is that you have both options of using our API and the CSV file. If you don't have the resources to use the API, you can create your CSV file on any text editor or spreadsheet app of your choice. And you know, there are many tools out there that produce first-party data that have CSV and Excel exporting features. So it's universally accessible. And the first-party data upload is a unique offering that you won't find on other social listening platforms. And we've built it to be as simple as possible. Beth mentioned that this is a free beta, which means you can use it now. And it's free for free, free. So without further ado, let me show you how it works. I am going to share my screen, and let's hope that the screen share magic works without a glitch. All right, just a second. Okay. So hopefully you can see my desktop nice and clear. If you're already using Track, you should be familiar with what this is. It's a search dashboard, typically where you land on a specific search. To use the first-party data upload, you just need to get to your settings page. And you'll see nicely highlighted the new feature of first-party data. I'm going to click on that. And then you get to this page where you can just drag and drop your CSV file from your computer. So I'm going to do that. Here's one I prepared earlier. Just drag that on, and voila, you get a couple options. At this point, what you need to do is just put in a name, a data type, and I'll just pop one in. Let's see, what are we going to call this one? First party data webinar feedback. And the data type, I'll just pick demo, or maybe create a new one. So this you can think of as maybe a grouping of some kind. So the data type is not really, it's really up to you what you want to call it. So maybe I'll pick webinar feedback for this one. So if in the future I have any other webinar feedbacks, I could upload them the same data type, and just kind of groups them together. And the next step is to match fields. The good thing is I only need to match 3, the main ones, and that is an ID that uniquely identifies this row. And we actually provide a sample of the CSV, so you can download it. You don't have to remember what to do, and then put in the fields as well as rows of data that you want to upload. So I'm going to pick remote ID as one of the required fields. The next one is the content field, which is just the body of the content. So that's links to publicly available images or text. Just click on that, and it enables it nicely for you automatically. And then finally, the publish date. I click on that, and it's enabled nicely for me over there. And as Beth said, you just need to make sure that you're complying with Pulsar's acceptable use policy. And I will say yes to that and start my import. As it's cranking away, you'll be able to see if there are any problems. And unfortunately, we do have a problem here. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to resolve issues if you do have any. What has happened here is that we have got 7 posts, and there's something wrong with 1 or more of them. I'm just going to click on resolve. And what it does is it downloads the CSV to my machine where I can see what the error is, and then I can do something about it. So pretty helpful. So I'm going to do that, download the CSV. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I have here from Pulsar, and right, hopefully you can see that as well. This is just a spreadsheet that's been downloaded to my laptop, and I can see an error here. Maybe it's not big enough for you to see, but it says expected value to not be null. So I had a missing ID. I know this because I made it as such. So I'm just going to put in a random ID there, save that, and then I will upload it to resolve the error. And all I need to do is that file I've just edited, drag and drop it here, click on Start Import, and it's going to fix things. It's that easy. So just a couple steps and we are done. All right, and at this point, I'm just going to hand over to Dominic as this completes what it's doing, and he's going to show us how you can actually do some of the analysis with first-party data. And let me just stop my screen share.
Thank you, Jean. Perfect demo, as always. I really, really like that. Thanks for showing us how to use the CSV. Can we see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yep, great. Okay, awesome. So let's say you've gone ahead and done what Gene's done. You've uploaded your data. What are you going to do with that data? How are you going to see that data? What do you want to, what's the point? Why are we here? Well, with the as Beth mentioned earlier, I went ahead and ran a survey amongst my colleagues. I went ahead and sent it to some friends and family, my grandma, just to see what she thought about cryptocurrency, because obviously she knows a lot about it. She's very up to date. So I decided to run that survey and pull the data into our cryptocurrency survey or cryptocurrency data set that we have on our demo platform. Some of you may have seen this demo site before. If you haven't and you would like to, I recommend you talk to your account manager, or if you are not new to Pulsar, ask for a demo and we can show you this data set. This will be available to be looked at if you have access to the demo platform. So what I've done is I've taken that data into the platform in the form of results. Let me see, I should have my results here somewhere. There we are. Okay, so these are what the results look like. So I went ahead and ran the survey. I asked 5 questions and I went ahead and put every single question in as a different field. So what happened, I also then referred to the first question as the parent. You can see the response of my father here. He seems to think that cryptocurrency is fool's gold. So thanks, Dad. We have a lot of different responses here, and I tagged the users based on their age demographic, which I used an image as part of them for. So here's all the different data that we have in the platform. I've uploaded this information. I've got different questions for each of these people. And I've then taken the survey data and I've gone ahead and put it into one of our dashboards. If you haven't used custom dashboards before on Pulsar and you're a Pulsar client, I highly recommend it. It gives you a lot of customizability to do all sorts of things. And as you'll see with first party data, it's a great way to showcase it. So in this particular case, I've taken my data, all the tags that we have from the different age ranges, and I've been able to kind of figure some things out about our demographics. So here we have a gender split of a little bit more female than male. We see the sentiment difference between male versus female here. I've also gone ahead and mapped the country of origin based on the different countries that we had data from. And we also have age demographics here as well that I've broken down by the different tags. So we can see that the majority of our survey respondents were in the 25 to 34 range, but we did have a significant amount in some of the other ranges here. And we even can see some of the segments that are formed from the bio keywords, because I asked everybody to submit a bio as part of the survey questions. So we can actually see some very kind of interesting maps here between those things. And these are all common Pulsar charts that we use for other functions. So if you're interested in any of these charts, these are the kind of things that you want to continue to talk with an account manager about, or a representative. Or if you are really curious, you also always have intercom, and you'll probably talk to me if you're in the US time, or you'll talk to Niran or another one of our support helps in the UK time zone. So we're both always trying to work and help with all of that stuff. That's what we're available for. Some of the questions I asked if it's, do you think crypto is a fad or is it here to stay? And you can see what a lot of people seem to think it's here to stay, but there were some respondents who think it's a fad and some who they just aren't sure. We also asked which cryptocurrencies people know and which ones are they buying. So we can see a real heavy representation here of Dogecoin, which is going to come up in a bit here. You'll notice it's surprisingly different. But when you look at the purchasing power, few people have actually bought Dogecoin. More people are buying Bitcoin or buying Ripple, even if they don't mention it as frequently, because when people actually are buying the coins, they tend to be buying the ones that maybe have a little bit more, oomph to them. Not that Dogecoin isn't a viable currency, not making fun of anybody who's got money in it. There's always something there. We also asked them what would make them buy it. And I went ahead and was able to sort that on the graph too, so we could see what that information looks like. As you can see, Pulsar allows me a lot of creative capability to customize how I pull that data in and look at the answers to my question. But of course, you don't always have to be looking at a dashboard. There are things on the platform that will also let you see this data. For example, you may be familiar with our keywords chart, our tree map. And as you can see here, we have some sources, our news, blogs, and forum sources on cryptocurrency. And right in line with all of it is our first party data keywords. These are the keywords that came up a lot in these in particular posts. And we can see them in line with our forums and our news and our blogs. The data can be seamlessly integrated right alongside. In fact, to showcase that even more, I created, you guessed it, another dashboard. This dashboard is going to compare survey and social data. So on the left side, we have our social data from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, news, blogs, forums, etc. And on the right side, we have our survey data. So the idea here is to take a look at, is our survey representative of the larger social data set? And what we see is we are overrepresenting in certain coins like Dogecoin, which maybe it's because it's a little bit more relevant right now. There's a lot of hype about it due to the GameStop things that have been going on with Reddit and whatnot. But you can see overall there are still some similarities in terms of the chart. What's really interesting to see is that the gender split of our survey is significantly different. We have more female than male by an inch, but normally in the social data, male is overwhelmingly involved in cryptocurrency. However, when we look at the sentiment split, it's almost identical. It's really interesting how we've mirrored that. And the same is true for emotion. Our emotion split is near identical to the split of the emotions for social data. When we go down further, we're interested about who's talking about crypto. And of course, because we have a different subset of the survey, I've taken the survey respondents, taken the common categories that we found in our bio segments chart, in some of the data that we pulled, and I've asked the same of the crypto, of the data from the rest of social. And what we see is that maybe we're underrepresented in gamers, we're underrepresented in researchers and dads, but we are overrepresented in moms, and we're overrepresented in fields like finance. So, and sales. So what, maybe if we're some company that's working with cryptocurrency, we might be interested in saying, okay, are we targeting the right groups of people? Well, our survey data indicates that we're not really, we're underperforming and under targeting gamers, and we're under targeting, you know, dads here. So we need to start marketing towards gamer dads. You know, what are gamer dads doing? How can we get a hold of gamer dads so we can kind of oomph up our data so we're really taking advantage of what the market looks like in social data? And we can use this data in all sorts of ways, but this is just a couple of the ways. And I've tried to be as creative as I can, and I'm very limited. I'm not exactly a design person. You could probably tell by some of my color palette choices. I'm not exactly a design genius, but what I am pretty good at is at least thinking about some of this kind of stuff. And I'm sure that some of you guys have way better ideas than I do. So I can't wait to see what everybody comes up with, because honestly, first party data gives us so many new opportunities to see other people's data that we've never seen before on the platform come into the platform in a very meaningful way. That's effectively the end of my demo. I think we have one more question for you guys. So hopefully we can get another question out for you now.
Indeed. Bear with me while I share my screen. There we are. So a second poll for you all. So how do you currently use your first party data? I will launch the poll for you now, and there is a set of answers for you here. So I'll let you have a read of that. The answers are coming through thick and fast. Also a quick reminder as well, if you've got any questions that have popped up, feel free to pop them in the Q&A box. A couple have come through on the chat as well. So feel free to engage with us there. Okay. Some nice responses coming through. Looks like there's a pretty clear answer to that. Awesome. Excellent. Cool. Alrighty. Jean, are you going to run through the answers?
Yes, I will. But firstly, I actually have something to show you. So this is the results of our upload. We purposely picked a very small number, so we'll be able to show you the whole process from beginning to end. So I'm just going to share my screen for a second and show you what it looks like, what success looks like. Just a second. All right. Cool. So we have successfully uploaded 7 posts. We've got a nice green progress bar there, just so we can tell that everything's gone well. And if we were to go to our results, we'd be able to see them. But I won't go into that right now because Dom already went into that. But as you can see, it's done. So let's have a look at our results. All right, just give me a second. Oops. All right. Cool. Let's take a look at our poll. All right, cool. Are all the results in now?
Yes, they are. I've just ended the poll for you, so they should be there.
Cool. All right, it's not showing up just yet on my end. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Right, so, ooh, highest one. I use another tool to analyze my first party data. Okay, cool, pretty clear. So it's very good to know that you'll be able to actually use Pulsar to do that now. And I think at this point, we are gonna go back to Dom.
Yeah, I think we're going to go through a few questions, right? Just to see any questions that people have. So I know we have a couple questions
There's quite a
already in the
few
doc.
actually.
Yeah.
So a few
So
come through.
Yes.
let
Nice.
me take a look and answer this one. Okay, so we have a question. We do a lot of paid promotion. Do you think we can use Pulsar to measure impact using our data from our paid promotion campaign? So the big stressor here is that Pulsar first party data is all about content. It's a content centric thing. So if you have insight data, for example, and it's a post from users or any kind of promotion that you could see, comments or comments that you have, of course, that you have permission to upload to Pulsar. Always important to make sure you have that permission, depending on whatever the regulations are where you are. If you have the permission to upload that data and you can upload it to the platform and it's in content form, meaning that, it's a series of posts or a series of responses or pieces of data like that, you can absolutely upload it to the platform, analyze it alongside things. The key to remember there is that it's content centric. So insight data, for example, if you just have numbers next to, it's like age demographic, right? 18 to 24, and it's just the number 407. That doesn't really have a place on Pulsar data because it's not attached to a piece of content. So everything should be attached to a piece of content when you upload it to the platform. And so as long as it's got that, it can absolutely be uploaded. That and the consent, the important things. So as long as you've got the permission to upload it and it is a content-driven piece of data, it can be uploaded to the platform and it can be used in the same way. You can get creative with the fields. I mean, if you noticed, I got really creative with the icons. So what I did there was I used age demographics as I created public images that were different demographics, and I used those as my images to provide profile pictures for users that allowed me to sort on them a little bit easier. So that's an example there.
Fabulous. Another question that's come through, I think is around what Jean, you presented about the sort of the templates. So someone's asked, is there a key to explain each of the different template columns that are available?
Indeed, there is a key. So I could just show you that quickly.
Fabulous.
I'll share my screen, but yes, there is. It's really handy. It just pops up where you need it. So back to the uploading page, and then I'll pop that in there. And all you need to do is hit this guide button over here, and it gives you a description of each of the fields. And I think there was another question that's related to this around the difference between the remote ID and the author one. So the remote one is basically, this is the unique identifier for that row. The author one, on the other hand, is related to the author of that particular piece of content, right? So the remote one is for the content itself, and then the author one is for the author of the content. Hopefully that helps.
Brill. Nice. Another question that's come through is, where can I find the terms of service and privacy policy specifically for the uploaded data?
Right, I don't know if we have actually split them up at this point, but this acceptable use policy one is found on the upload page right at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to share my screen just to show that really quickly.
Yeah, when you're on the CSV uploader and you're choosing your columns, right? When you go to import, there's the option, a box to tick. And that in that is our first couple of statements you can see, and there's also a link to Pulsar's acceptable use policy. Right. So those are going to be your policy guidelines. For many of you who are in Europe, you're obviously going to need to make sure you're complying with GDPR. So you need to, as a USian, we have very different rules. We have all sorts of things for even different states. Just making sure that you're complying with your local rules, that you have that access to that data, you've gotten permission from your users for for third-party, like we're going to use your data for third-party access if that's necessary for wherever you are. And as long as you have those permissions, then it's okay to upload on Pulsar. We're just letting you know that when you check that box, we are operating under the assumption that you do have permission for that data. So, always make sure that you guys are uploading good stuff, keep it ethical, right? That's the idea.
Actually, off the back of that, someone else has also asked, once the data is uploaded, who can view the data? Is it available to Pulsar staff or just those associated with your account?
So Pulsar, like the wider staff, so the super admins, which would include myself, anyone who's working support on the back end, has access to those searches. You can always, if things need to be very private, you can, in terms of you don't even want Pulsar staff to see it, you can have a discussion with us and we can talk about how we can kind of configure that option. There are options on, if you're a client already, there are options on searches that you can make searches private to even members within your organization, so that only certain members can see it. So certain users can see that particular search. But in order to obviously troubleshoot, Pulsar does have access on the back end. So if there is an incident in which you need to make sure Pulsar does not see that data, we would need to have a discussion about it. You need to talk to your account manager, and we can consider what's possible before we go about doing that, to make sure that we're in compliance with whatever you need to be in compliance with.
Fabulous. Lovely. All right. Another question that's come through. Are there any restrictions regarding maximum or minimum data volumes when uploading the first party data?
So minimum, one piece of data. it can be as small as one. As far as maximum, I believe your limit is simply the limit of a CSV file, but you can continue to upload more data. There's not like a limit to particularly, if you had to split it into multiple files, you can continue to upload more data. Now this may change when we exit beta, but during beta, it is free. Like Gene said, and we call it free because it's free in terms of the fact that it doesn't cost you anything on top of your Pulsar, your Pulsar membership. So if you have access to Pulsar and you have access to Track, then you have access to it. And the second free is because it does not actually eat up your mentions at this time. So if you have a mention limit of 10,000 and you upload 1 million first party data bits, you could technically do that right now. We're just trying to use this. When we exit beta, there may be a cost associated. We are currently keeping it in that free beta mode because we want to understand how you use it, and we want to make sure that we're not just saying yes, $7,000 every month for first party data. We want to make sure that we're being reasonable and that we're working with you to give you something that fits within a regular plan. So that's right now, no maximum. Just the maximum of a file limit is the only thing.
Awesome. Brilliant. Someone has asked, if I have first party data that's on a time series, what are some of the ways in which I can compare it with social data or news data? That might maybe take a bit of a demo.
Gene, would you like to discuss that one at all, or should I take that one?
Oh, please go for it.
Okay. So I don't want to make too many assumptions. I'm not 100% sure if I understand what you mean by time series. I'm guessing are you, if you're talking about like you have data that goes over a period of time. So, from like January to December of a full year. The ways that you can compare it with social news data would be the same ways that you can compare different data sources on the Pulsar platform, meaning that you can go to the overview graph and you can see your different data sources split onto different lines. Which includes first party data. So you can have it in comparison in terms of volume, in terms of engagement. It acts as any other data source on the platform with first party data, meaning that you can compare it directly with anything else you have. It is as long as whatever it has in terms of content like engagement and impressions is dependent on how you what you upload, dependent on the kind of stuff you provide. Including bios and author information. So as long as you have that uploaded and you have it organized by dates, then you can go wild with the comparisons. It's the same as every other data source we have, which means it acts the same. It shows up on all the charts the same. The only difference is your creativity and imagination, whatever your limit is with whatever you can upload. That's it. As long as
Yeah.
you provide something, that's what you got, and you can see it in all sorts of ways. So in terms of search data, the search insights chart, for example, is only related to search data. And then the search line shows up on your overview chart as well. So in comparison with search data, you would do it the same way that you would do the other sources. So you could use the overview graph, the overview chart, for example. You could have first party data show up over a time scale, and you could have the search line also show up on that scale in comparison. So that's just an example. Once again, people are a lot more creative than I am when it comes to this kind of stuff, but it is any other data source. So you can use it just like that. And also on top of using it as a complete data source, that data type option Gene showed earlier allows you to segment little bits, which is really neat. So you can actually just say, oh, I uploaded survey data and I uploaded support data, and I just want to look at the survey data right now. So I'm going to look at the survey data in line with Facebook and see what those look like compared to each other.
Yeah, this is why that publish date field is crucial and required.
Fabulous. It looks like we have got 2 final questions. So this is looking like it's going to be a nice, sharp 45-minute webinar. So one of the questions was, I'll go with this one here, will Pulsar use or somehow monetize the data uploaded by clients?
No.
It's not our data.
It's not our data. That's your data. Absolutely not. That data is your data. It goes there. We never use data from any client searches. We never use screenshots, even in our documents from other client searches. All of our screenshots, all of the stuff you saw sourced. There was a reason that poll that I used was a new poll and not like, say, our support data or anything that revealed client private information. It was a completely public poll that I released to my team, that I told them I'm going to be using this for this purpose. We always keep with that, and no, we'll never we will not use your data in any other aspect. That is your data that stays on your subdomain, that stays on your searches, and that's where it belongs.
Fabulous. Lovely. And I've got one last question, which is, how does the Pulsar API work for uploading the data? I saw that was mentioned alongside the CSV uploader.
Sorry, Gene, it sounds like another one for me. I hate to.
Well, I have actually put the link in to the documentation.
For the documentation.
So feel free to
Great.
have a look at that. It explains all the APIs we have and stuff.
So for that API in particular, it's called the Pusher API. It's an extension of our brand new, by the way, GraphQL API. Some of our clients who are familiar with our API may have been part of the open beta that we had for it, but we now, or I guess it was technically more of a closed beta because it was like word of mouth. Hey, I heard you guys have this new API. So now it is officially released, open to the public. The documentation that Gene posted should help you better understand that API. The GraphQL API offers a lot more opportunity to be very picky with what you get, but the aspect from the Pusher data side, the Pusher API endpoint allows you to send data to the platform. And I've actually done some work with that myself. I did. I just to kind of mess around, I built a little Google Sheet that allowed me to just put data on the Google Sheet, and with a click of a button, you can upload that data to the Pulsar API and it'll send errors to you. So that was just me messing around with an app script. I have my background in programming, but I'd say I'm about as good of a programmer as, nobody I know. I'm not very good. But needless to say, in terms of that kind of thing, it's a very valuable tool to upload. And we know that other people have API access. So of course we provide it, but we also provide that CSV, which is something that Pulsar thought really unique. So you don't have to be a technical wizard to know how to use the platform in order to upload data. You can do it in some of the simplest ways possible, little simple file. But of course, the API is always available to you. And if you have any further questions about that, you can reach out to your account manager, you can reach out to a representative, and they'll probably end up hooking you up with me to have a meeting, and we could talk through the API, we could talk through examples. I can even show you that Google Sheet I was talking about. More than happy to have meetings on that kind of subject, because I love the API. It's been like my baby for the last couple months. I've been working with it so much. So it's so cool. I think there's a lot of awesome features with it. And I'm excited to show it. So if you're interested, please do feel free to reach out. I would love to show it to you.
Excellent stuff. Fabulous. Well, I think that wraps up all the questions that came through. So thank you everyone for attending. What we will do is we'll whiz around the recording to those of you that attended today and probably beyond. If you have any further questions on this or want to go and get stuck in and need some support, then please do reach out to your account management team, and we'll be sure to help you out. Thanks for your time in attending, and we'll leave you to it and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Speak soon. Bye.